episode number 444. I just want to say thank you so much for rocking with your boy. And most importantly, I don't know if you guys know, but I do have 4 businesses that help me do what I do each day. The first one is our foundational business. That is Real-Time Outsource. That is realtimeoutsource.com. We can help you boost your digital presence in 7 days a week, folks. We're working with our clients for them on their behalf. So take advantage of our team and let your social media thrive in 2024. And that leads into my second business, which is realtimereputation.us. This is a business that I was sitting down with a customer. We were talking about their software that we could use to possibly power his reviews. And so we did eventually white labeled and now have our own software to help you power your business and get more customer feedback and online reviews 24 hours a day. Easy with an email list or a phone list. Realtimereputation.us. Take advantage of it, folks. And my next businesses are my passion projects. They are my loves, and I want to see them thrive and grow this year. I love podcasts. That's ILUV podcast.com. This is our podcast agency where we can help you get your voice in front of the right people. We're using audience strategies, booking services, our podcast marketing services, and our podcast review strategies. We can not only help you get your podcast to that next level, but also help you get booked on 3, 5, 8 shows every single month and making it easy for you to focus on what you do and help us take our network and extend out your voice to them. And my last one, which is my favorite and my baby, and that is dreamsportscars.com. Dreamsportscars.com. What do you dream about? And we have searched the most craziest cars across the globe, from baseball, basketball, Pokemon, wrestling, UFC, and the list goes on. We're also on Whatnot Daily. That is dreamsportscars.com. We have on eBay and Whatnot Daily with 3 shows a day. And most importantly, I hope you guys are having a great day. And thank you.
Both sides of the door is see-through. So it's not just your image and your offer, it's your corporate governance, your employee treatment, your DEI. It's a fascinating time, I think, for companies and for humans, like as a whole, like how we're actually interacting with one another.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, I hope you guys are having a great day, night, weekend, or whenever you are listening to the show today. But after this show, I think you're going to want to think about your design a little different from someone that's doing it on a big scale with global brands. But essentially, at the end of the day, we're going to get into it. But the DX, the brand, and the people, and the experience that you create, whether you're an agency, whether you're a business, more than ever, we all need this. And I always love someone that's doing it at a big level. Mr. Josh Fuller. Josh, are you ready to be real?
Hey, Travis. Yes, sir.
Let's go. Before we get into Matic Digital, which is the business, and we'll get into a lot of the fun of what's going on in the day. Were you always into marketing? Were you always into business, even as a kid?
Never totally, even now, been directly into marketing, more brand and product. Yeah, I think as a kid, I've asked myself this, and I'm kind of watching for her signs to see if, I guess I'm hyper aware of like what's drawing her. And I was just more artistic, man. I liked drawing. But then as I got a little older, I did start to become aware of like certain brands that appealed to me more than others. And I mean, some of that's just good marketing.
And like you said, it starts with, when you see something on the shelves or you see an ad. Today we got about 1 second of attention time before we skip to the next thing or past the post or whatever it is on social media or an Instagram reel or a TikTok or a television commercial or whatever it is. It seems like you got about like 1 second to captivate them in that first real quick, and then you have to hold them that whole time,
right.
to have options. People are busy. We got things going. I got 30 seconds to sit with you. No, I don't. If it's captivating though, I'll sit there for damn 3 hours on Netflix and binge 8 shows. And you know what I mean? People. So that's the whole thing. And the secret of marketing and advertising now is not only to attract that attention, but then to hold the attention, because it's easy to attract. You just pay $1 million, give Facebook Meta $1 million, give Google ads $1 million, and we're out there, baby. But it's to then obviously attract that, attention from what that, media exposure, or obviously if you do it from website experience or many things, but now more than ever, it's such a short attention span. So you're right. It aligns with the brand and everything. You have to just feel it. It's almost like a feeling. Do you feel like, it's almost like you just like instantly kind of vibe with it.
Yeah, that's, the resonance factor, right? You gotta I don't know if the government right now is even talking about like the psychology. Is it even cool? Is that even a good thing that these apps are completely hyper invested in mind share, right? At a point of, especially for like younger audiences, I think, as adults, like, I have a pretty good on-off switch with social media, and where it was going to be 3 minutes and it was 30. Right. But that's just good content, right? But yeah, no, it's definitely, there's just so much competition around that space. And I think, God, the fact that we're so exposed to what's happening with Sam Altman, like we're so hyper exposed to what's happening with the brands we engage with, both in the boardroom and on the marketing front. And the coin is kind of double-sided all the time, right? Like, so I think that's a really interesting notion, that buyers and customers and clients and partners of any brand vying for both sides of the door is see-through. So it's not just your image and your offer, it's your corporate governance, your employee treatment, your DEI. It's a fascinating time, I think, for companies to, and for humans, like as a whole, like how we're actually interacting with one another.
Right. And it is true.
Guys in Detroit, if you were buying a Ford, it was the guys in the Detroit, or it just was so, Domino's wasn't a company I cared about. It was a phone number to order a pizza on a Friday. Like, and these things have just changed so drastically and so I don't know if that's a penance being paid.
Right.
Where all the time, all at once kind of advertising that we're all kind of into now, or if it's just another byproduct of hunger for content.
True. There's just, we all want it, we all need it, and we're all thirsty for the next one. The one that's it is fascinating about Sam Altman, because let's be real, ChatGPT is a really cool tool. Just like Google 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago was a pretty dang cool tool, and it still is now. But it's like, that is incredible what it can do for brainstorming, from idea creation, for just things that you couldn't even think of in 2 seconds. It can help the team give a bunch of ideas that the team can brainstorm around, or problem solve, or blog writing, and many things that you're still going to maybe have to add your own brand's touch to. But let's just be real, it puts a lot of the legwork in there for just the creative process, which in the beginning, I was listening to the interviews with Sam Altman. They always thought I was going to go after the data jobs and the jobs that were mundane and things like that. It went right after like a lot of the creative jobs in the agency business. Think about content writers and blog writers, and now you have Dolly AI, which can create images of whatever, and you have or there's apps where basically it takes photo shoots of 1,000 different places across the world, and you're not going to completely mess up photo shoots, but you are in a way too, so It's kind of that fine blend where you're not going to always put them out of business, but if you're not using the tool too, you're kind of not really understanding this is happening today. Just imagine in 6 months, 1 year, 5 years. I've seen this space when I went from my corporate job Disney into the 2009 into social media, and seen it grow all different craziness, and then now it's like, oh my God, we have ChatGPT that can really do a lot of healthy lifting if clients need brainstorming ideas. And, it just helps us, like, let's just be real, be more efficient as a team in these times too, with revenues not, you can't just go out and get funny money out there in the world that you could, 5 years ago or less. Today, businesses need to be resourceful. And if you're not using ChatGPT to help kind of lean on some of those things, it's kind of crazy, but where will it go from now? Because now the founders changed on. The president now, I think, said that he's not working there anymore. And it's interesting, where will that tool go? And what is going on really there is the question too, because they got a lot of data. Let's just be real. It's just interesting. Who knows? Like, it's just fascinating.
Well, and I think we'll find out was was Sam Altman, was he OpenAI?
Right.
Can it really thrive when he goes somewhere else? Like, because he's just announced Microsoft is going to, what does this do to this thing we've all just gotten used to using? They just launched an app store. I mean,
an
app store model.
Right. So you can build on top of it, and you can have like this creator model, like the Apple. Obviously, every great model has an app kind of store model. eBay, Amazon, build on top of me, sell on top of me, baby. And let's all make money in this, together. And I mean, it is interesting. But if you're not using the tool too, you're kind of crazy. So it's a fine blend. Or will it get better? I don't know. You think it maybe could, but the typical thing that most founders do is they go build the next big thing that competes directly or somewhat indirectly or something in a space.
So what happened exactly? It's all hypotheticals of like, was this retaliation for what he announced on Dev Day? Did he not have board consent to move that fast? Did he already have a competitor kind of was he building his own challenger brand already? You just don't know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Really,
I mean, it's truly, it's kind of one of those things, what happens when a business really grows really, really fast. Let's just be real. I mean, they grew like exponentially fast. And then all of a sudden there's a whole nother world of things when you get a board involved and minds, and this person thinks this, and it's not just Josh's companies anymore. It's everyone's company. And, and so the vision has to be aligned. And then if they don't align with you, they got majority vote. Josh is out. T-Huff's out. You know what I mean? And so it happens. You see it time and time again. And sometimes they bring them back, and sometimes they work it out. But it is fascinating, and it happens to most brands. But like you said, we're in a world where we get to see these things. It's transparent. It's out there. That gets me into your business, because when I went to your LinkedIn, the first thing that stuck out to me, it says DX plus brand plus people. Talk to me about that, because I like that. DX plus brand plus people.
Yeah, man. So, we've become that to some extent, right? Like when I started Matic, it was going to be strategy and design, and just kind of in the process. I had been advised, consider a good way to keep great talent close that you might be too small to keep busy and fully engaged is think about ways you can support your clients with like individual practitioners. So kind of a staff hog type of thing. So there's the people teams, and we've, been really successful at helping companies with, hey, we need a full stack engineer with experience in X and a strong aptitude for Y for 9 months. We know that this project has an expiration date. When it's done, it's done. We might need to go full time, but we'd rather not. Can you help us? And so we've done that. We've supported other companies where it just doesn't make sense to hire that capability full time, but they need them for 3, 4, 5 months at a time.
Right.
So there's people, and that was organic because I've never been a recruiter in my life. But I'm a veteran creative director, so I've across the agency, Deloitte Global, and then startups. So I discovered something about me early in starting Matic that just kind of soft skills read was pretty good. We were, one of our first clients in that space. They started off with 1 3-month UX UI designer. That's what the ask was. We were, at our peak with that project. They converted many of those folks full time, but we had 14 people there across the director of QA, the head of content writing, the VP of product was a role we helped them find. Some of these were very out of my normal wheelhouse, but working out really well. That having worked with all those types of people for so many years, kind of identify that talent, and where I thought, okay, the soft skills are going to really be a strength here, and the hard skill maps really nicely. Like they definitely have experience in that sector, and it's broad, but it's there, and they're going to plug into this team and really go well. So like that's the people piece, and that's been such a joy. Brand and DX. So when I got my start, we didn't have all the cool terms. I just I was a designer, and as a designer, I had to learn code because people wanted websites, and then as a creative, I wanted to learn Flash, and that's moved on to After Effects and other tools for storytelling and content, and so the product piece sort of came a little bit later. I'd say I was in it around 8-ish years before I started working on software as a creative, and then have gone on to do some really cool stuff with some brands you've heard with and deal with day to day, and then smaller brands. Some of the most fun I had was the couple of health tech startups I was at, where we were, just your classic startup, idea and a blank page. Let's go. And built those one to acquisition, and the others still thriving today. And those were both hardcore, app experiences, but there's so much under the hood going on to kind of make the experiences that we had been thinking about possible. And so that's kind of the DX and brand, because I just somewhat under the same roof. It's all brand to the user, whether it's a marketing email or a billboard on the subway or an app in their pocket. That experience is shaping and reshaping the brand experience, the brand perception in real time. So we're a branding led agency. We're an experience led agency, and brand is just absolutely synthesized into what we end up doing. It's front of mind, whether we're creating that brand or inheriting it and keeping it true throughout the piece we're working on. Brand is there. So that's kind of our three.
I love that. What are the brands you guys love to work with? What are the brands that you guys really enjoy working with, Josh?
I mean, I don't want to necessarily call any one out, but I'll call out sectors.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, sectors.
The three that have been, the pragmatic 5 years from now, it's like this is where we're going to be really focused, continuing to focus towards. Fintech, financial services is just, it's changing constantly, and the way we need to access, send, manage our money as people is just continuing, and the old norms are out, the statements and things of this nature that are still like kind of legal, but they're not necessarily engaged by the actual end user that they're intended for, that they're printed for, that they're packaged for. Just love all the space of what's possible in fintech, and digital banking that's a big sector for us that we love. Health is also on the other side of that coin. Health tech's been interesting because I was a part of two startups. The one I mentioned was acquired. It was genomics focused. It wasn't really trying to change healthcare, which is the moniker of many health startups over the last 5 years. And we weren't trying to change as much as create and think through a different lens of how to think about what makes us, right? So that was just fun and cool, and it found its niche. and then the other health tech I was a part of, I think, path towards more health focused work, they are trying to change healthcare in a number of ways, and health engagement and being more proactive than reactive amongst, us. And there's a mission to that. I don't think we found the right amount of psychology, logic, health, just inherently, even in the digital space, is really beholden to these kind of norms that are rather, I don't know, dated, pedantic. They add friction where friction feels like it should be removed. Classic. Every time you go to the doctor's office, you're filling out another clipboard about yourself for 10 minutes.
Right.
Why? I've done this
Right.
1,000 times. I'm 40, I'm 46. Like, I've done this.
You already know this. You should know this
on paper.
Right.
I've done this verbally. I've done this on video.
Yeah.
How do you not have this yet?
Right.
So just stuff like that. Like, health is sort of its own, it's its own worst enemy in terms of, and billions have been thrown at it, and the companies go under. So it's going to get cracked. And AI, we could go on that tangent, we won't, but AI is a fascinating piece that could help fast track this, right? And I think the use cases within health and AI and digital engagement will lead to better health outcomes.
Those are two huge categories, fintech and health in general.
The last one is travel.
Travel? Nice.
Travel's sick. And I will name drop here because, I first got involved personally with travel with a really large Deloitte initiative years ago for Amtrak.
Oh, and nice. I love Amtrak.
Amtrak was rad because it's like train travel is not as predictive as to do in a phone. It's one of those businesses. It's like, it's kind of, I get why you guys do it on a clip on a notepad. Like, it's easier to manage in real time than a digital experience. So we got to work both on sort of back end, like customer service side, and on the buy experience and on the travel experience and all the pieces, right? It was a big ambition. So that's
cool.
Travel, and since I've been able to work with JetBlue, and Matic just finished phase one of it's not public yet, but for a cruise line that's sort of an incumbent to the space, more in the luxury and expeditionary space.
Nice.
So not your booze cruise Royal Caribbean style, though.
Right. Like a higher end, more upscale.
And the buy experience is a little harder than like just be at the port in Miami at this time.
Right.
Like, we got, these are like, okay, you got to get to Iceland first. And then they're just, and they're 10 or 15 days. So these are like fun, malleable, sticky problems that are just super enjoyable to think about, to understand the business, to hopefully help shift the business from thinking, about kind of, hey, we're an established industry and we basically sell through mail and discounts. Like,
right.
Okay, but you're also wanting a younger buyer, and the younger buyer is kind of the reason, and print and all of that is struggling. So like, let's take some, hedged bets that you could maybe detract some of that budget if your budget's 70% print and 30% social, great. But let's spend a little bit more on digital for building, so it's not a brochure website with a call us button.
Right.
And actually build a booking flow. And it's so,
it could be life-changing for these businesses. I mean, it could be game-changing.
Yeah. So like, so those are our three, man. Like, we do some other cool stuff that we love. And
those are three very prosperous categories, I feel like, too. I mean, as far as like the growth for the next, like, let's just think about it. Like, everyone is going to be managing their money. We all got to manage our money. Everyone's getting older, so everyone's going to care about that, and we're all living longer, so health is going to continue to be a part of it, whether you're supplements or you're taking at the gym, or you got the Apple Watch, you got the rings, and they got all these different health devices that kind of help us. But then everyone's going to want to travel too, so I think that's another big area that, no matter what, unless you're a hermit which some people are, and they like to travel via, looking at the screen and stuff. That's cool. That's no worries, no judgment. But for most of us, we have the itch to kind of get out there, see things, explore.
Yeah.
And everyone does it at different levels. Some people are traveling every weekend, every day. They're all on the road, and some people, take 4 or 5 trips a year. But that's a solid category for the rest of the future. For the business. And I love those categories too because they're all kind of fun and different in a way.
And I mean, look, I'm the biggest fan, and I would love to count Nike as a partner at Maddox someday.
Right.
It's just, as a whole, like, we're just not saying, we're going to be totally CPG. Like, we've done e-commerce. We've got some great clients in some enterprise level e-com work we've got experience in a lot of places, but when we're looking at like where we truly can add value, kind of walking in the door, like we have some, shared experience that up levels us to here. All those worlds are also changing tomorrow. So stuff we were doing, my personal experiences 3 years ago, or my team's experiences from 3-4 years ago, they've credentialized. They don't necessarily mean we've got changing fast.
Every day, tomorrow there could be a new update and it can do something different. You're like, holy shit, we can do this.
I mean, just what, the ridiculousness about AI is, if you heard about the device, it's former Apple folks. It's apparently a pen you wear that's like a communication device, and it'll translate. They're coming out to market. Like, the reservation list is pretty massive. And I'm avoiding the name because I can't remember the name. But it's a big one. It was all over the news like 2 weeks ago, but now Altman's in my head. But who's going to create the user experience to expand upon a device that's no longer, a screen and working in this more fluid? I personally don't think that's going to take off, by the way, but
that's what
this stuff is changing constantly.
They're trying. Everyone's trying. They're trying new things, and it's like anything you don't know until you try. But
I mean, right now, any company out there that has more than a users probably has some form of a Q&A or a bot-enabled chat. So right now, my prediction for 24 is every company should or will be building in their personality. We're going to see a lot more Clippies out there because AI's opened up the doors to where, and it's so cool. We can do this to, and this is, of course, once we get through the rigor of should we and can we, because a lot of companies are like, they're not sure yet, but 90% of major enterprises are already, using it to optimize internal processes. And that's how they're forming a test and an opinion about what they can do with it. I think next year minimum, we're going to see of brand-based personality voices, and the chat experience is going to be optimized through the roof. And if it's not, my only question would be why, because it can be and probably should be. So
that's a big winner right there alone. Now we're about to take you into our top 10, my dude, before we roll. Josh, are you ready? Apple or Android?
Apple.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Instagram or TikTok?
The gram.
The gram. Chicken or steak if you're thinking about a good meal?
Chicken, but not by choice.
Chicken. We have to eat chicken. We're staying lean, baby. Laptop or a smartphone if you had to get out the door right now?
Laptop.
Spotify or Pandora?
Spotify.
Movies or video games?
Movies.
Reading books or listening to books?
Reading.
Stocks or real estate?
Oh, God. Stocks.
Yeah, let's get liquid, baby. You can sell a stock tomorrow or today. We can go sell tomorrow, today, or any day or any hour. Nowadays, it's like almost 24-hour trading where try to sell your real estate tomorrow. It'll be a lot harder to do. Oceans or lakes if you're thinking about a vacation?
Oceans.
What ocean would you go to if you could just pop out? You're on Denver. You're out of here. You're no work today.
Mediterranean.
Oh, yes. Nothing like that blue ocean. Nothing like it.
Take me back there.
Take me back. You deserve it, too. I know you said you're gonna get to do a little stuff with your family for your first time.
This is we just got a house in Breck though. We're just driving.
That's still fun though. Just a getaway from work, a getaway. You deserve it, my dude. You deserve it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
When you're waking up for your day, you're getting ready, pumped, energized. Why do you love being you?
You broke up on that when I'm waking up for the day.
Sorry, Zoom. Let's go, Zoom. When you're waking up and you're getting ready for your day, pumped, energized, why do you love being you, Mr. Josh Fuller?
Oh man, honest answer, I don't every day, right? You gotta kind of find that and tap into it. But man, to be grateful for, and still a lot to prove that I was worth it. I've been given this wonderful, obviously, daughter, so she sort of leads, but also just life didn't turn out how it was mapped out, and I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, so I think it hasn't quite died, that some people have that spite or that I got to prove this, and I still have it. I think I have it at a much healthier quantity than I did in my 20s, maybe. And so, man, I think honestly, a little bit of gratitude, and there's this little bit of like, whether I feel like it or not, like I've got this thing that I'm meant to get done, and so that's kind of my thing.
You gotta wake up and get it done. Just do you. If you can't, if you don't do a little bit for you, you can't do it great for others. I love that. Do you have something you're trying to master right now? A skill you're trying to get better at? Something you're trying to challenge yourself at?
At the cert course for AI for business strategy. Ooh. So on that, which was literally, we all turned in our capstone projects, and that was the end of it. And it was, good stuff. And then hours later, the news about Altman broke, and there's like nobody to go ask about this. I mean, I guess I can ask this question, but yeah, AI is kind of in terms of just, we need to remain in front of it as much as possible, at least be able to have a firm understanding, it's here to stay in some capacity. It's not necessarily brand new, but it's now on the menu in a way that it wasn't before. And the use cases have just exponentially grown. So we're thinking a lot about, without diving into the bowl of Kool-Aid, how can we bring value with it, and where can we internally and externally be speaking to it. So I took a class that lasted about to kind of help there.
Let's go. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Always challenge yourself.
I'm still trying to see, but I don't know. The time is slipping away for that.
Right. The biggest thing is you're always learning, and that's the one fun thing about this marketing advertising business is it's always changing, always learning. And if you're not, you're going to get left behind, folks. So please just learn a little bit. A couple last questions before we roll, my dude. I know we got to roll here. If you could sit down to a chicken dinner with anyone in the world today, who would you want to chop it up with?
Oh, God, this is such an unfair question. There's so many.
There's so many good people out there, I know.
Oh, God, take me back to... I'll dork out. I'll go dork tech. I'll go Steve Jobs.
Oh, yeah. The greatest, one of the greatest ever.
There's so many amazing individuals in the world and history, but I don't know. On the spot, that's where I'd go.
Oh, I'll be right there with you. I'll be right there with you.
I think I'd have to eat vegan with him though.
Yeah, he eats vegan, huh? And he is a little bit of a kind of a rough, not rough, but he says what he thinks. There's no sugar coating. I'll just put that. They say in the boardroom, but hey, why not be that way? We have our email fonts, and we have everything from the way that our fonts look on email and all sorts of things thanks to Steve Jobs. So and we obviously love these damn Apple devices. If you leave it for 2 seconds, you're like, where the hell's my phone?
Yeah.
Where the hell's the phone at? So just imagine, even just the way your email looks is a thanks to him and the text and type fonts and all that kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
so that's amazing. And can you give the business a plug, or where's the best place so that we can plug the business? And also, where's your favorite place to hang out so we can plug people to where you're at?
Yeah, man. So com is our site. I always welcome a LinkedIn hello. It's outdated title. It's Josh Fuller CD on LinkedIn. And where do I like to hang out? You mean virtually or in real life?
I mean, mostly virtually. I was just saying, like, mostly LinkedIn.
Virtually?
Yeah, mostly virtually.
I'm a big fan of always like a cool site. I get a lot of I get art. It's mostly my email subscriptions is where I lose my time.
Right. Yeah. I always say,
I mean,
that could be the biggest pipeline.
all the basics.
Right. And that could be the best way we learn too, is a lot of these updates, because it's hard for us to go find all this information. So it's like curated perfectly to you. And then you don't have to go all the different websites, and you can just kind of get the latest news too. That's the one thing I do like about newsletters and things like that. Although people hate them sometimes, but one of the greatest things is just it curates your learning experience where it comes to you now, and you don't have to be out there searching for it. Well, my dude, I appreciate your soul, your passion, your energy. I know we got a hard stop here. You are going to continually change the world. Go to the website. We'll put it in there, Magic Digital. We'll also put my guy's LinkedIn in there as well. Josh, I want to thank you again today. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Folks, you've been hanging out with Josh Fuller and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real. What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today.